Our top focus as of now, Pakistan's government and its military seem to have resolved tensions over the latter's choice of the country's new spy master. The development comes almost a week since the two institutions appeared to be in disagreement over the appointment of Pakistan's new Director General of its Inter-Services Intelligence Agency, or the ISI. On Wednesday, the country's Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry tweeted, and I quote, "Consultations between the Prime Minister and the Chief of Army Staff on the appointment of a new DG ISI have been completed, and the process for the new appointment has begun. Once again, the civilian and military leadership have proved that they both stand united and equal on matters of integrity and development of all institutions." This is what the Information Minister said. The apparent breakthrough comes on the heels of much speculation that the country's civilian leadership had not approved or otherwise had not been consulted by its military institution in the choosing and naming of the new ISI chief. Rumours began to swirl earlier in the week when the Pakistani government withheld issuing a largely procedural yet crucial notification that confirms the appointment of the country's new ISI Director General. In the first week of October, the Pakistani military had already picked out its choice on who was supposed to helm the ISI. According to reports, the media wing of the Pakistani military had announced that Lieutenant General Nadeem Ahmed Anjum had been appointed as the new ISI chief, whereas the agency's present Director General, Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, would be posted elsewhere. Several days passed, but no notification from the government confirming the appointment of Lieutenant General Anjum had been issued. Furthermore, no one from the office of the Prime Minister Imran Khan sought to clarify these rumours surrounding the matter. And now, according to sources, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan wanted the current DG ISI, that is Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, to stay on. High-level negotiations are said to have taken place between the government and the military. A three-member team of civilian representatives were seen shuttling between the capital Islamabad and Rawalpindi in an apparent bid to ease tensions. In Pakistan, precedent dictates that the DG ISI is announced by the military, but only after consultations are duly held with the Prime Minister. This procedure was perhaps what Imran Khan was referring to when he was quoted as saying, "DG ISI's appointment is his." Now, given the situation in Afghanistan, Faiz Hamid should continue for another 6 months if the army is respected. So is the PMO. "I am an elected Prime Minister. I am not a puppet Prime Minister. Send a summary with 3 names as per law and I will take a decision as per law. It could be that my choice ends up being the same as the military's, but the summary has to be sent as per law." That is what the Pak Prime Minister said. And now, going by the Information Minister's tweet, both the civil government and the military of Pakistan appear to have reconciled on the DG ISI's appointment, indicating that the process of the spy master selection will begin anew. However, it remains to be seen which officer exactly will both institutions agree on. Now, for more on this story, senior journalist Ahmed Shaheen is now joining us live from Lahore. Ahmed, thanks so much for joining us on WION. Now, what can you tell us about the appointment of the new ISI chief and especially the disagreement between the Pak government and its military?
Since the very inception of the current Pakistan's government, the Prime Minister has been reminding everyone who listens to him that the military establishment and the civilian government that is of theirs is on the same page, as they say. So, I mean, very clearly, it's not on the same page in terms of what needs to be done regarding the notification of the new DG of the Inter-Services Intelligence, the ISI. However, we have to understand what's been going on right before, this so-called fiasco. What we need to understand is that the opposition political parties have been talking about, especially PMLN and former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has been talking about the role of the Chief of Army Staff, General Qamar Bajwa, General Faiz, who is the Chief of ISI, and the DG of National Accountability Bureau. These are the 3 very powerful people who have been accused of either getting rid of the previous government of Nawaz Sharif or getting Imran Khan into government. And also the DG, National Accountability Bureau, has been witch hunting politicians from the opposition party. Now, the Chief of Army Staff has already been given an extension, and the head of National Accountability Bureau, the DG of that, has now also been given an extension through an ordinance. The Chief of Army Staff was given an extension through a change of law. So now remains the last person who has been very openly, for the first time in Pakistan, has very openly been accused of meddling with the civilian authority and getting rid of a previous government and supporting Imran Khan to come into power. So General Faiz is a very important person when it comes to accusations of Imran Khan coming into power in the first place. So when senior ministers of Imran Khan's government, according to media, are saying that Imran Khan wants Lieutenant General Faiz to continue and does not want General Nadeem to take over as of now, it's only a repetitive series of actions that the government has been taking, and this is the last stunt they're pulling. Any other civilian government, if they did any of this, would have been sent packing by the very powerful military establishment by now.
Right. Ahmed, just to follow up to that, with the Pak Prime Minister siding with one individual in particular, as you just mentioned, would it not be damaging for him as well as the institution of the army in the long run?
I mean, yes, it would be damaging. It would be very damaging for the new ISI chief if General Faiz, who is the current ISI chief, if he is given an extension now, it will be very damaging for him. General Nadeem, the person who was announced by the military's media wing as the new ISI chief, if he becomes the chief, then his reputation is already tarnished by the delaying of notification. Let's not forget, for a whole week, there was all this chaos lasted a whole week when the military establishment's media wing announced the name of the new ISI chief, which is General Nadeem. And then the Pakistani government wouldn't say anything about it. The only journalists who were actually talking about it are the journalists who are not allowed to work in the mainstream media anymore, renowned journalists. And these were the only ones who were talking about what is happening. Why is there, unprecedented in Pakistan, why is there no notification of the new ISI chief? And this was, after all of this, the whole media for a whole week stayed quiet, and the media was not even, talking about the fact that it has never happened that the ISI chief has been announced by the military, but the civilian government is just not talking about it. And as we speak now, even now, we don't know which of the three options the government is going to take. Is the notification of the army going to stand when the new decision is made? Are they giving an extension to General Faiz? Or is there going to be a third person, a newer person, who would also become controversial because of the fact that all these actions have marred the ISI chief's position as a very controversial position, even if we don't take into account what was being said by the civil society and the opposition parties about the role of ISI in the previous government's topple and in the election of Imran Khan.
Amir, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all those updates. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.